Collage Center is officially open, so now you can use supplies from the Drawing Center, the Painting Center, and the Collage Center. It's located back here in the back corner of the room. We have scissors and glue. You have several bins of different pieces of papers. There is a warm colors bin, cool colors, neutral colors, which are like black, gray, and brown, and white. You have painted and patterned papers, and we have magazines and newspapers. And then lastly, there is a bin of tissue paper and there is a bin of magazines. So you can help yourself to any of these supplies when you are working in the Collage Center. There's also a section here that shows you what goes back into the bins and what does not. Any larger scraps that could be reused go back in the bins. Small scraps or scraps with a whole lot cut out of them, something that you wouldn't really pick back up out of the bin yourself, please put it in the recycling. Don't put it back in the bin. When you put things back into the bins, make sure to sort them into the correct bin so that the next person coming along can find what they need easily. What I just showed you is what I call play paper, and you can use as much of that paper as you need for a project. Over here at the Drawing Center, this is what I call care paper. I don't know if you ever noticed the sign next to it before, but care paper, you just use one per project. So this is where you would get the paper for your background. Choose the bigger or the smaller, any that you want, any color, any size. And then this is what you're going to use to glue all of the objects on top of. You may see some of this when you're done. You may totally cover this whole paper. Either way is fine, okay? The more you cover it, obviously, the more interesting it may be. So maybe your goal is to cover the whole thing, but that's up to you. But again, you take one piece of paper from here. Please don't take a whole bunch of papers from here and cut little tiny shapes out of each one. Get the play paper for that. When you're working at the Collage Center, there are 3 types of collages you could work on. One is called a cut paper collage. A cut paper collage is simply when you use paper and cut out the shapes and glue them together to create an image of something. So for example, here is a picture of a girl wrapped in a scarf with the hood on and a bag with a tree on her back. And it is all made by cutting out each of those shapes out of the color of paper that they needed to create it with. Another type is collaging with found images. And what you do there is you find something. For example, here they found the top body of this woman, and then you use collage elements to finish the picture. So they added a skirt made of all different types of papers and items that they found. Here is another example where they found a house and, or not a house, the world and a baby and some people on a bench and a fire truck, etc. And they put it all together to make an interesting picture. Your third type is painting with paper, and painting with paper does not actually involve any paint. What it means is you draw your image on the page. For example, here is a landscape that someone drew on the paper, and then instead of using paint or any kind of drawing material to fill in the colors, they cut pieces of paper that were the colors they needed and put them all together to make the image. So those are your 3 types of collages you can work on: painting with paper, collaging found images, and cut paper collage. When you're planning your collage, there are 2 challenges that work really well with the Collage Center. One is create mixed media artwork. Remember, that means you are using supplies from at least 2 different centers, so you could do collage with paint or collage with drawing materials. The other is paint with paper, which I just explained to you what that means. Let's look at some examples of artwork that would meet either of those challenges. You've already done one mixed media collage when you did your animal collage because you used all sorts of drawing and painting materials, collaged it all together, and then even drew over top. Let's see what else you could do with mixed media collage. You can collage a background and then paint objects or images on top of it. You could also do what this artist did and create a collage and just add a little bit of color with your drawing or painting materials. This artist used the painting with paper technique and some found objects for those flowers and that moon, and then used a black marker to outline and a white pencil or pen to add little details. This is an example of an artist who drew or painted an object or several objects and then cut out and collaged those objects together. And one last example where an artist found an object, cut it apart, and then added drawings and paintings to create their image. The options for mixed media collage are pretty much endless. Any topic, any theme, any materials. If you'd rather do the paint with paper challenge, you start with a line drawing of anything you'd like, and then instead of using paint or colored pencils or anything like that, you're going to fill it in with little pieces of paper. So you find little scraps of paper of whatever color it is you want to fill in the part you're filling in. You tear them or cut them into pieces and you glue them in place until you have your whole paper filled with color and little scraps of paper. I'm excited to see what really cool ideas you guys come up with. Have fun and go make something awesome.